Can I have everybody's attention, please? I'm Howard Tolman. I'm the CEO of 1871. Welcome. We're excited. Huge turnout. We had to turn a lot of people away. Unfortunately, Josh Metnick, wherever he is, got in. But anyway, just a little side joke. But so we're excited. We've had Bitcoin and involvement with digital coins and technologies for quite some time. And I'm excited to actually have a resource that can help explain for all of us just actually what's going on. I feel like, in a way, that the whole Bitcoin revolution is like sex in high school. And, you know, you may wonder what that means. Well, you know, everybody says they're doing it. Nobody's actually doing it. And for sure, no one understands what it's all about. Okay, so here's an opportunity to get really smart from people who actually know what they're talking about. So we're excited. If you haven't been here, when we're done, please walk around. We've just added another 40,000 square feet. Upstairs, we have about 500 companies now at 1871, about 2,000 people a day. So we're excited. It's great for the city, the growth, the excitement, and basically being in sort of the tech hub for innovation and everything that's going on. So I'm going to turn it over to somebody who's at least as prolific a blogger and nuisance as I am, Jeff Carter, and he's going to take it from here.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello. I apologize for not having water. I figured with a debate tonight, you guys would want to prime yourselves with a lot of beer, so that's my fault. I want to thank you all for coming. It really means a lot to us. I mean, when I started Hyde Park Angels in '07, and you think about getting somebody to show up to a tech event, and we had to turn people away today. That was really impressive, and it's good on Chicago. I want to thank Block.com for their sponsorship of this. Without it, couldn't have happened. Block delivers enterprise-grade blockchain technology to leading companies worldwide, so it's right in the B2B fintech space, which I'm really interested in. I want to thank Howard and his staff because they've been excellent throughout all this. It's the first event that we've held as West Loop Ventures, and we hope to do a lot more around B2B FinTech at 1871, and they've been just absolutely great to work with. So Howard's done a great job. If you haven't been in the place, you should really look around and see what's going on here, and if you want to be a part of it, it's really easy to become a part of this. What's going on in Chicago right now. Anyway, Kenny Estes, for those that came to see him, is flying back from Europe today. He was there on a little holiday, so he apologizes not being able to see the people that he invited. When we started West Loop Ventures, we had one goal, and it was to find, nurture, and fund early-stage B2B fintech companies that solve problems for institutions. We think it's possible to build out this ecosystem in Chicago and make it a thriving fintech community. If you think about all the assets that we have in the silos of insurance, trading, connectivity, clearing, risk management, data, banking, accounting, finance, and back office, right? There's a lot here. Usually I go off the cuff, but I don't want to miss anything. So the way our program is going to work today is William's going to give his presentation, and then we're going to have lots of time for Q&A. And if you could all silence your phones, that would be really helpful. Unless you've got a really cool ring that we'd like to hear. If there's a question that you want to ask, there's a stand-up microphone there, and then we'll try to get around with a handheld microphone so that we can get all the Q&A. And then once that's done, William will sign books in the back, and we can just network a little bit and drink more beer. William and I have known each other for quite some time. We're co-invested in a company called Root This, which is based in Waterloo, Canada. rootthis.com. So if you can become a customer of that, we'd be really happy. But he's been in the tech industry for 34 years. He's been described as the most sophisticated blockchain business thinker around. He's a blockchain insider whose work has already shaped and influenced the understanding of blockchain for people around the world via his blogging at startupmanagement.org and this book, The Business Blockchain, which I've read, and it's a great book. If you haven't read it, it'll really get your mind going around how Bitcoin and blockchain can interact with the regular business world. He's a direct participant in crypto technology markets, working alongside startups, entrepreneurs, pioneers, leaders, innovators, creators, enterprise executives, and practitioners. In addition to being an investor, an advisor, and a board member, in some of the leading organizations in this space. He works with the Ethereum Foundation, Open Bazaar, Block, and Coin Center. So I hope you can give a warm Chicago welcome to my friend William Mougayar.
Thank you very much. How's the sound? Is it good at the back? You can hear me? Great. Good to be in Chicago. Wow, 250 people, and we had to turn some people down. When we first decided to do this event, we thought we'd have 100 people here. And that's why we only had 100 books to give away. And then when we saw the numbers creep up, my publisher and I, we kind of rushed some more books to get here, and some of them arrived just today. So we have 80 more books that we're going to give away for free. And if some of you did not get a book, please go to the back and see Bill Falloon from Wiley, and we'll gladly give a book away, and I will sign them later on. So I'm here in Chicago to talk to you, but I'm also here for another presentation tomorrow morning. Not too far from here, I'm talking to a group of 250 developers that work for a large company. And I get very excited when I hear that developers are interested in the blockchain. I get even more excited when they want to learn about it, and even more excited when they start to develop some projects and applications on the blockchain, because developers are very important for the success of the blockchains. So by a show of hand, let me just get a feel for the audience here. How many of you are developers or consider themselves as developers, even if you started to develop on the blockchain? I'm talking about blockchain developers. Even if you started yesterday or last week, you can call yourself a blockchain developer. How many of you? Okay, not too many, not too many. You see, that breaks my heart, because really, I mean, those of you that said you are blockchain developers, really, you should give yourselves a pat in the back. And I want to ask you a favor. Can you clone yourselves by like 10 times by next week? Because we really need more developers. That's the only way that this whole segment is going to take off. Any of you that said that we're not developers, there's lots of you. If you can, who were developers again? Keep your hands up. Those, give them a hug, really. Because we need more of, or give them a round of applause. We need more of them, definitely. That is really what's going to make the whole thing take off. It's very important. To give you a perspective, how many developers that know blockchain do you think there are in the whole world right now? Any guesses? Yes, maybe you read my book, right? When I did the book in May, I estimated to about 5,000. Maybe there's 7,000 now at the most. Is that a good number? It's not a good number, no. Do you know how many Java developers there are in the world? How many? Java or JavaScript? 9 million. So on one hand, we have 7,000 blockchain developers, 9 million JavaScript developers, and we have many, many web applications. We need to get up there, right? And Java is used as an example, because when Java came along in 1995, that's really what started the whole web applications movement, because you were able to write applications on JavaScript, and you didn't care where they ran. They just ran on the web. And for the first time, we had that capability. It opened up a lot of possibilities. So we need to ramp up the number of developers with the blockchain. That is a very important aspect. So I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes. You're a very advanced audience. In tomorrow's audience, I'm going to go through the basics of the blockchain and what is the blockchain, what it does, and why it's important. But I don't think I have to sell you on that. So my presentation today is a little bit different. We're going to have a bit of fun. I'm going to walk you through some of the latest themes that are top of my mind, some of which I've written about already in my blog. So first thing, let me ask you this as a starting point. What do you think the blockchain disrupts? And whoever gets the first answer right will give them an extra book bill that If you already have one, then you have to give that book to somebody else. Sorry? Okay, keep going. Okay, what? What is it? Sorry? Regulation, okay. Something more basic. Keep going. Keep going. I thought you were a smart crowd. Okay, I'll give you a hint. Think technology now. I think some of these are right, but I think at the fundamental aspect, before it disrupts these custodians and regulators and intermediaries, before, what has to happen before? At the technology level, what does the blockchain disrupt? I wrote a blog post 2 years ago. I said, blockchain is the new database. Get ready to rewrite everything. So the blockchain really disrupts the blockchain disrupts really the database. At the technology level, it disrupts the database. Why? The whole world runs on databases, no? Everything is in a database. All the applications, the financial applications at least, and many others. If I have to move money from my bank account to Jeff's, or to Howard, or to any one of you, what does the bank do? They really have a database that has a record that points to the fact that I have $100, let's say. And then if I have to send it to another account, they have to take the $10 out of my account, update the database, then send it to the other, have somebody in the middle, and update the other database. So the whole world is really about synchronizing a bunch of databases that are proprietary, that are not the same. And that is really at the fundamental level. If you want to disrupt something that already exists, you want to take a slice of that. And then that's what the blockchain does, because everybody's on the same page. So think of that if you're trying to disrupt something. Second thing I want to say is, what is blockchain? It is many things. It is many things. And when I wrote a book 20 years ago, 19 years ago, about the internet and e-commerce called The Opening Digital Markets. And it was a very similar book in terms of explaining what was going on early on. And now we take it for granted. But I can tell you for a fact, the first 3 years of the internet, nobody had a clue about what the internet was going to do and what it was. It's just we're at the same stages today. I am sure in 3 years from now, I will not need to give this kind of talk because everybody in the whole world will be very proficient in using blockchain and it will be part of the vocabulary. But right now, we have to do a little bit of propping up to get everybody up to speed. So at the time when I wrote the book, Opening Digital Markets, I had, in one part of it, I said that the internet had 6 identities at the time. So now blockchains the blockchains had to do better than the internet. So I came up with 10 identities for the blockchain to kind of show that the blockchain has more identities than the internet had 20 years ago. And it is really all these things. So some of you may see it just as a cryptocurrency. So how many of you see the blockchain just as use it as a cryptocurrency? So yeah, you must be speculators, right? You're one of those that get the price up and down. So that's one aspect. It's also a computing infrastructure. The Ethereum blockchain is comprised of 6,000 computers. Bitcoin, the Bitcoin blockchain, is also 6,000 computers. It's a transaction platform. We're going to have transaction finality on the blockchain. It's a decentralized database. It's an accounting ledger. Yes, it is a ledger. Most people think of it as a ledger or a currency, but it's a lot more than that. It's a development platform, of course. If you're a developer, you're going to see it as a development platform. It's open source, meaning that innovation is open-ended. Anybody can contribute. Anybody can add features, can add capabilities, can add middleware. And then it's also a financial services market. We're going to start to transact on it. It's a peer-to-peer model for marketplaces. And finally, it's a trust services layer. So I want you to think about all these identities, that the blockchain has many of them, and depending on who you are, what you do, what your interest is, then you're going to see it in 1 or 2 or 3 or different parts of it. In the same way that if I ask you today, what does the internet mean to you? You're each going to give me a different answer. Some of you will see it as a publishing platform. Others will see it as an e-commerce platform. Others will see it as a social media platform, and others just communicate.